Yeah, it's gonna end up beating the earnings if you keep raising prices, is my guess, anyways. I think I got a McDonald's app on my phone. I'm curious if I pop on here real quick if it'll let me see some prices. I was talking to my dad one day and he got a oh shit. All right, so good example. One hash brown right now. Well, it says hash browns. Is that two or is that one? That's $1.69 right there. Oh my god. Two sausage McGriddles would cost you about $6.50. Two sausage biscuits with cheese is like $4. Anyways, he was saying that I'm trying to confirm that right now. That he got one breakfast sandwich and it was like $4.50. And I'm like, for one breakfast sandwich? Like, hey, well, that's a lot of cash, man. And you realize, oh, I mean, shit, here we go. Bacon, egg, cheese, biscuit, $3.79, $3.79, $3.79. So you're spending $4 on a breakfast sandwich right now. If you get a hash brown and a drink, I mean, you're spending, probably $7, $8 on a combo. Do they have combos on this app here? We'll see. What's on the deals list? Just a bunch of combo stuff. You look at the food prices. I think a large fry right now is costing like $3.50. When you think about that, it is potatoes that are deep fried, and that's costing you $3.50. Some places that if I go just get a lunch combo, it is going to cost me $8, $9. If I get a fancy combo and I go large at like Burger King or something, it's like $10. So you got to imagine that as prices keep rising, depending on where the analysts, start setting their numbers, you can't be surprised when the earnings end up getting beat. We're going through drive-through windows like never before because of COVID. Every McDonald's around me is understaffed. There's a line around the building. A lot of places weren't open this year on the inside. So where's all the revenue coming from? Obviously, international sales is one of them. But you have to think of, if they're understaffed and everything's going through a drive-through window, and the prices are up, they found a way to maybe maximize profits. They probably have less people running in the store. They're probably hopefully doing a similar amount of people through a drive-through window. You're probably scaring away some business, but as those food prices go up, if you keep a similar margin, things aren't looking so bad. It's just, where do we go from here? As we go through earnings season, what's 2022 look like? Prices are creeping up everywhere. Energy prices are going up. Food prices are going to go up. But, if your average meal was $5 and you get a 10% margin, and you make 50 cents. But that ticket price goes up to $10 and you make 10%, now you make $1. And it's one of those things where I feel like corporate America wanted the government, or Wall Street wanted the government to keep pumping money into the system. If you keep pumping money into the system, they knew inflation was going to happen. When inflation happens, that ticket price goes up, and as long as you can maintain your margin, you make more money at the end of the day. And the higher the ticket price, you also probably end up collecting more taxes depending on where you're at. So it's one of those things that if they can just get prices to go up, Wall Street wins and the government wins, and then the middle class and working class and below, they end up getting hurt. So no one ever talks about that, though. The upper middle class and above, it's irritating to pay more money, but they can afford it. Wall Street's going to make more cash. The government's going to get more tax revenue. And everyone below the middle class is going to get stuck with the bill, because that's usually what happens. They're trying to tax the billionaires now, and it says it's going to generate $220 billion over 10 years. On what? You're spending trillions right now. What's $200 billion? This is why I always say, like, people think that taxing the billionaires is going to solve the problem. I did math, rough math, street math, top of my head, napkin math. If you took all the money from the billionaires, just gave them zero, and you redistributed that to every working American in the country, I hate to say only, because I know it's a lot of money to some people, but they would only get about $20,000 one time, and that's it. A lot of people last year got more than that through unemployment and the stimulus. There was a windfall of money that came their way. All we ended up was with an overconsumption problem and people that are not in a better situation in life. So you can drain the billionaires of all their money, and we'd have no billionaires, and everyone would get 20 grand, but that money would probably be gone within a year or two for most people. And then we'd have no billionaires and no stability, probably not a lot of reinvestment at that point. We would have a big consumer goods boom, and then there would be no one left to tax, because you realize, even if you took all the money from the billionaires, that's not enough money. I forgot they got like four. I think all the billionaires combined have $4 or $5 trillion. Don't quote me. We spent $6 trillion since COVID started in extra money. So even if you took all the billionaires' money, we couldn't even pay for what we spent during COVID. This is why the whole tax the rich thing is you got to make sure everyone puts in the pot, and you got to make sure these billionaires are paying their money, without a doubt. But this whole political game of saying I'm just going to tax these people. You realize you're going to tax them with $200 billion and you're spending trillions. At some point you have to realize they're coming for your money too. Lower class, working class, middle class, doesn't matter. They're coming for everybody's money because there's not enough money from the billionaires to actually pay for it. They got to come after everybody. Why do you think the IRS was actually talking about looking at bank accounts that have transactions that move around $600? If you're working in the restaurant industry and you got all those tips and stuff, yeah, they're coming for you. So it's just one of those things that you look at the whole gambit that's going on right now. They wanted inflation. They wanted this McDonald's meal to cost $10. McDonald's is going to make more money, and the government's going to make more tax money. The problem is no one really talks about this stuff, or they don't see it happening. And I'm not surprised by this news right now. And just hang on. We're about to get a lot more of it with the shortages that are going on, the supply chain issues, just more reasons to keep raising prices. And maybe I'm wrong, but I remember when McDonald's combos were $2.99, you get a drink, a burger and a fry. Have you ever seen prices come back down? Have you ever seen wages come back down? Once someone at McDonald's starts making $15 an hour, good luck trying to hire people for $12. Once McDonald's is charging $9 for that combo, do you think they're going to go back to $6? These things are probably here to stay, and it's largely, in part, created by the government. And it's going to be good for Wall Street. It's probably going to be good if you're an investor. But if you're middle class or working class, it sucks. And no one's talking about this, because this really is a tax at the end of the day. This ends up being a tax on the middle class. This ends up being a tax on the working class. And it just ends up costing you more. They may not tax you on your paycheck, and it may not go to the federal government through your paycheck, but this ends up being a tax. But we shall see. I'm done ranting on that one, but you got to imagine with the way food prices are going to go up, this is going to be the theme here for a while, so we'll see what happens. Any thoughts on that? Drop a comment below. I'd be curious what you have to say. But until then, I'm going to catch you on the next one.